Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Smash JT. Recently, Norman Caruso, the guy who does the gaming historian stuff, did a video on how to clean your video games. And one controversial subject he brought up was using Brasso in extreme circumstances.
I recommend Brasso. Brasso is designed to clean and polish metals, and most cartridge contacts are made of, you guessed it, brass. It will absolutely cut through corrosion with ease. Just don't go crazy with it and make sure you clean all the excess Brasso off with rubbing alcohol. Otherwise, it will eat through the contacts.
Since he posted this video, he's faced a lot of backlash from comments in the YouTube section, all the way to Twitter, and people complaining about why this was not a good idea to say, and he's had people come to his defense like Kelsey Lewin saying that sometimes the Pink Gorilla will do this in extreme circumstances, just like Norm says in his video, extreme circumstances, it's okay to use Brasso if you can't get your game working any other way.
Like I said, this is for extreme cases only.
But I want to show you another video from 2012 from a guy named Sega Socks.
Hello and welcome back to another video. Just a quick word of warning and a complete moonwalk on my previous video that I uploaded, basically talking about how I cleaned up my cartridges with Brasso. I would totally not recommend doing that. I've been pretty lucky with the games I've done it with, but last night I tried it with a Super Nintendo game and literally took all the gold plating off the ROM strip. So I apologise to anybody who's either tried it or was considering trying it.
That's because Brasso is not a cleaner, it's a metal polish that actually eats away at parts of the video game, especially if you don't clean it 100% after using Brasso. So if you don't use it properly, it could affect the long-term use of the game in question well beyond when you've had it in your possession. Brasso is a metal polish designed to remove tarnish from brass, copper, chrome, and stainless steel. Brasso has been available for over 100 years with more modern usages like polishing CDs, DVDs, screens, and pools to repair scratches. But some of the things that I'd warn people about using Brasso is it can degrade the metal if you don't clean it off properly after using it. Which brings us to our latest controversy of, is it okay to use Brasso to clean your video games? And depending on who you ask, you're gonna get a completely different answer. I like to look at this situation more of like what happened in Louisiana during the gigantic flood they had after Hurricane Katrina, and how a ton of those cars went to market after that flood happened without people telling them that these cars were in floods, which meant the water came up, touched all the internal organs of the car, and then when the flood went away, the water went down and the car worked again. But down the road, the rust and corrosion from the water on the parts of the car that should never have water on them actually end up destroying the car well before the life expectancy of that car is supposed to give out. So too with Brasso is, you may be able to save a cart from death, but what happens when you save that cart and it works for you, but then down the road you sell it to someone else and it stops working? Time has corroded it so poorly, it's rendered the game completely useless. You've made away with selling the game for money, and someone gets screwed over with basically what amounts to a lemon of a video game cartridge. But that's what I feel about the Brasso situation. I just wanted to address it here and now, let you guys know where I stand on it. I clean tons of games. The best way to go about it is use a pencil eraser. Unscrew the cart with your custom bit and just clean it with a pencil eraser back and forth until it shines and put it in, and hopefully that works. You're not using any chemicals or hazardous materials on the actual board of the cart, so it shouldn't affect the longevity of the game. And in reality, I feel like that's the fairest way to approach this. I don't want people to take this video the wrong way and feel like I'm attacking Norm Caruso. I love his work. His Tetris video is one of my favorite YouTube videos I have ever seen. It has nothing to do with him as a person and his YouTube stuff. I just saw something he said that I didn't agree with and wanted to make a point in a video to explain to you guys why this is a big deal and why you should care about it. And the long-lasting effects of Brasso impacts everybody, even people beyond the people that own the game, because eventually you may pass on from this planet, somebody else would take over your games, they may sell them, and somebody would be getting a cart that had Brasso used on it that could affect the longevity of the game. And it's only fair to those people that purchase it with real money to know that they're getting a game that at one point was so broken, so poorly used, so bad that you had to use Brasso to bring it back to life Don't you think it would be fair to let that person know that Brasso was used on the game to prolong the life of it, just so they know they'll be purchasing a game with real money that they could be buying the same exact game from somebody else where Brasso was not used because the quality of it wasn't broken? Thankfully, I've personally never had a game break so badly that I had to use Brasso on it, but if I did have a game come to that point, and I decided I am going to be using Brasso on this as a last-ditch resort, hopefully to bring it back to life, then I would also take a Sharpie to the back of that game and say, Brasso was used on this, FYI. Just so if I ever were to sell it to someone, they would know Brasso was used on it. It's only fair. Anyways, that's how I feel about the Brasso situation, but I'd love to hear from you guys on how this should be handled by the gaming community, especially as games start to age and degrade far worse than we've ever seen them before. Are you okay with Brasso being used on games or not? And if it is used on them, how would you handle it? Let me know down in the comments below, and as always, thank you guys so much for watching. Have a good one.